Hey everyone, I'm coming to you live from Concession Street in Hamilton. We just firmed up on this beautiful 13 unit building, 10 residential, 3 commercial units. Yeah, I mean, it's everything we want in a property and more. Concrete construction, you can't destroy it. Like you could drop a bomb on this thing and literally the thing's not going to fall down. Um, we don't typically do commercial building, like commercial units, mixed use. You know, we're starting to add a little bit more just for the simple fact that we all know that the residential tenancies in, um, in Ontario is tough, and getting commercial tenants, although sometimes you can have a longer vacancy, yet when their lease is up, you're renegotiating. So I can now bring that back up to market rent. I mean, for example, another one that we bought and we've owned it for 3 years, we went from $1,200 a month rent to $2,500, and we're escalating at 5% a year. So, guys, I just wanted to give you the brief introduction. I'm going to sit down. We're going to go through the numbers on this building as well. But as you can see, you know, we got Tim Hortons down here, convenience store, Subway, high school across the street, Shoppers Drug Mart, great walk score. Nope. If you guys, I mean, we've done numbers on tons of these buildings, but we're going to run these numbers and we're going to show you what we're going to do and how we're going to BRRRR this building and get all of our money out. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Mark Loeffler Experience. We got another great show here for you today. We got my good friend Mike BRRRR, who has just bought and is closing soon on a 13-unit property in Hamilton, Ontario. We have Mike on to talk about why that property, why Hamilton, how he structured the deal, go run through his numbers real quick. Yeah, and if you guys, you know, we're up to about 830 subscribers. We're getting close to that 1,000 goal. So if you guys like this stuff, subscribe down below, turn on that notification bell, and like the video for Mike, guys. Let's get Mike 100 thumbs up. And if you dislike the video, smash the dislike button twice. All right.
Very nice. Thanks, Mark. I actually became a subscriber last night, so I'm official
Well, this
on
is
your
why
site.
I have people on, so they have to subscribe. I mean, this is like I just have to interview 1,000 people and I'll get there, right? So it's a slow process, yet.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. I'm a multifamily investor. I started out investing a long time ago, probably over a decade ago, in condos in downtown Toronto. And then I actually still have them. Then I moved on to student properties in Hamilton around McMaster, and I still actually have them as well. And then multifamily properties, mainly in London and Hamilton. So I don't invest downtown Toronto anymore, just mainly keeping it in Hamilton. Since this building is in Hamilton, I really like Hamilton because it's a fast-growing mid-sized city. I don't know if you guys, there is this perception of Hamilton as being a steel town, but they have a lot of different industries. Uh, I know that they've been expanding, like the food and then the arts, and then the university's got a couple innovation centers for, I think, for battery and for auto. That's the McMaster University.
And I mean, their top employer in Hamilton is health sciences, right? Those are decent paying jobs.
Yeah, absolutely, and tech is growing as well. So it's a fairly, I would say, like a rounded city that I like. And then it's also the bonus. It's close to Toronto, right? So the commute is pretty good. And then the other bonus, my parents just moved there about a year and a half ago, so I like it even more now.
Oh, so now you can go visit them and write off the gas.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing.
I think I write most of the gas off anyway, but
All right. Well, I mean, I know you have a bit of a slide deck. You had some pictures of the property. I shot a bit of a video there, so we're going to intersperse that with what's going on. And yeah, let's have a quick look.
sure, absolutely. Let me just share my screen here. Okay, so this is just a short version of actually an investor deck, very short version of an investor deck I put together. This is no longer an opportunity, but I thought I would use this just to show you guys what what I show and in the building. And then this on the screen.
Because you get investors, right? You're not using your own capital, you're using investor capital to purchase these opportunities, correct?
Absolutely, Mark. So the way I work is, I mean, I can only buy so many buildings with my own money, but and then I do have family, friends, investors that come and invest in these kind of tried and true multifamily buildings, especially in Hamilton and in London. So as you can see here on the picture, this is actually a picture of Hamilton. So it's a pretty cool view.
Yeah, they did.
Um,
They did a promo video, didn't they? Is that's from there?
This is from the Hamilton Unstoppable. I think they do have actually a video and such.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the building. It's on the mountain. It's on the mountain in Hamilton. It's 10 residential units,
Mhm.
and then three commercial units, two on kind of ground level, and then one in the basement. I actually one thing I was going to tell you about commercial units is when I look at commercial, it's important that they have businesses that can outlast things like COVID or tough situations. And if you look over here, we got tax liberty service. I don't know about you guys, but I continue to do my taxes and then pay my taxes on a yearly basis.
I do begrudgingly as well.
It's got to be done, right?
Yeah,
Someone once told me, if you're paying a lot of taxes, you're making a lot of money, so be happy. But
that's true. That's true.
yeah, somehow it's true, but I don't know. I'm still not excited when I pay.
Well, I mean, we're not going to get into debate about anything, but I'm just going to say it's value for money. We don't feel we're getting value for our money sometimes. Maybe.
Uh, and then the second unit is Monaco Cuts, and then they're actually taking up 2 units. So they were during COVID. They were I think they were closed for about a month or so, and then as soon as stage two came into Hamilton, they started taking on clients. And then I was actually there on Friday, and they're full. They're absolutely full. The guy kind of running the shop is apparently pretty popular. So if you're around in that area, I think this is for men. Make sure you stop in, get a haircut, and then right after that, get your taxes done.
Well, I mean, as we know from COVID, I mean, barbers are an essential service, right? I
You
mean,
know what? With all the big hairdos.
well, now that you have subscribed, you can go back and watch some of the old videos from back in COVID, and you can see the hair getting longer and longer and longer.
You know what, Mark? I pulled out and I started cutting my wife actually started cutting my hair during COVID. It was ridiculous. I never thought we would go back to that.
Yeah.
We used to do that in my early 20s.
Exactly. All right. So 13 units. Oh,
Yeah, 13 units. 7 are not renovated, and then 3 of the residential are renovated. This is by the seller. So this is what he renovated it to look like. What I'm going to do with this is, since this is a value add type of investment, meaning purchasing a building and then turning tenants over. So we got rents as low as $600 and something that we're probably going to raise to around, conservatively, around 1,400 in the area. I know, Mark, you have some units and experience with
I mean,
these one bedrooms, right?
yeah, off the mountain, I had one that we just rented for 1675, and one on Fennel, which is, I would say, probably not as nice an area on the mountain as yours. And I think we just got 1475 for a one bedroom. So I think 1,400, you're being super conservative. I mean, you could rent that all day long. You'll have a lineup out the door at 1,400. So
You know what? Actually, a funny story. I was there on Friday in a vacant unit, which is on ground level, and there was a sticky on the window. So it faced from it was stuck from the outside. and I'm looking at the sticky. What is the sticky? And it basically says a guy named Mike is looking for a unit. Please give me a call. So there's definite I think demand in Hamilton for units.
Yes.
Yeah, so we got one unit vacant out of the seven, and then hopefully when I take possession, which will be in less than a month, we can start vacating more units and then renovating those.
Amazing. All right, well, let's look at the numbers. That's what I love.
Okay, so these are the numbers. The purchase price was 2.25. The appraisal actually came in slightly higher at 2.5. So which is always good because the banks look at the appraisal value and the market value, and then if your purchase price is slightly lower than appraisal value, it's a good thing for them, right? We got a bunch of closing costs and then estimated. I put in slightly higher closing costs because this was during COVID.
Yeah.
And then reno reserve fund, and so in the end, really an investment of 2.7 million, right? And then less the financing, I got investor capital of about just under 1.1 million.
And let's talk about that real quick because you bought this at the beginning of COVID, right? Like when we put this deal together, COVID wasn't a thing. And then when we started doing the inspections and appraisals and everything, that's when COVID had started, right? I know that like you had a bit of an issue with getting getting the appraiser. Well, basically, you had to use my name to say, hey, well, no, Mark's is with us on this. So, and then everybody said, oh yeah, well, Mark, we'll come for Mark, right? So.
You know what? Actually, Mark, you did help through the process a lot, and then I know that one thing that struck me about working with you is that you have a feeling of abundance instead of the scarcity type of mentality, where some people, when you work with them and then they have this scarcity, they don't want to share contacts, they don't want to help you to succeed beyond. But with you, thanks a lot. You basically shared every contact that I needed and then some. So that was helpful.
Yeah, well, and yeah, I mean, and how many different reiterations of financing did we have on this deal? Like we had BMO, we had a mortgage broker, we had, and now like the final one, right? And it's just through COVID, everybody like, well, I mean, people like you got it from a credit union. They said no at first, right? They said no, we're not lending to anyone right now. We're not taking on. It's not even we're not taking on new clients. We're not lending to our existing clients. And
It
BMO,
was a
right?
Yeah, it was a crazy ride. I mean, I bought buildings before, but this kind of ride I've never had because we purchased the building at the beginning of COVID, and so what do you do first, right? You call an inspector, and an inspector says, you know what, we can't go in, but maybe we could go in when this is done, right? So I call another inspector, and he basically said, dude, if I don't go in this Friday, next week they're locking us down. So let's get the inspection done. Okay. Same thing with the appraisers. We don't want to go inside. Do we wear masks? Do we not wear masks? I went through probably like a couple as well. And then environmental, the same story. The usual dependable contractors or environmental companies we used, they just didn't want to go in. They were scared. So, and then the seller is pushing to get this deal done, right? So it was, I think it was, it got a little bit crazier than usual. Um,
I mean, at the end of the day, we got it done. I mean, one of the things that, I mean, I know we spoke about this, that you had said like that you had learned through the process is just to keep taking those steps forward.
yeah, I think so. Remembering just going to a credit union, trying to refinance, and then them saying absolutely no, we're not doing any lending. And then
Well,
these are credit unions that lend to everybody all the time.
Well, and it was the credit union that had the mortgage on the deal, and we said, okay, great, no, don't even need to refinance. Just we're going to assume it.
Yeah.
We'll just take over the mortgage. And they're like, no, and we're like, uh, that's the weirdest thing I've ever heard. Like, why? Like, you know the building, you've already appraised it. It's easy. We'll just get it done. Boom. They're like, no.
Yeah, absolutely. They're just seem to be frozen in time. And I think through your connection, Mark, through a bank, we did get some preliminary. We got a discussion paper, but it was only about 56% loan to value. Let me flip back to the content here, and then I'll show you the numbers, because this is this 56% loan to value is actually significant. So you can see my screen now, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so if you think about it, I mean, 56% loan to value out of the 2.5 million is roughly 1.2 million. So that means I all of a sudden had to come up with 1.5 million of either investor funds and or my own funds. And then I have investors, but they were feeling also a little bit shaky at the beginning of COVID, and then didn't know if they wanted to purchase, because we had no idea how long this is going to go for. So I had to free up a bunch of my own money quickly, and decided, you know what, I'm dedicated to this. I'm buying this building. This is a great deal in a great location. So whatever it takes, I'm getting it done. So I went into it with the mindset, you know what, if I don't get investors, I'm buying it. I'm going to take on the risk, and then whatever happens will happen. But I just believe in real estate that over time, I mean, 5, 6, 7 years down the line, this COVID will probably not be an issue, or we may have some remains of it, but in the end, that's what I was thinking. So
It's definitely going to change the way we do business overall, I think. Yet, I think it'll be a blip. And yeah, be a blip in 5, 10 years, maybe, hopefully. Knock on wood.
yeah, blip in our lifetimes that we're going to remember for a lifetime. so I put these numbers together during COVID, and I had no idea how long the landlord tenant board would be closed, how the rents would be impacted in Hamilton. So I put down really conservative numbers because I wanted to basically cover myself in case I didn't want to over project numbers to my investors. So I don't know, you probably, Mark, you can see that these are fairly conservative.
Yeah, well, I know you were really light on the rent. I think you used 1,300 on your numbers, and I mean, that's on your re-upping the rents. So I know that's going to be super low. And I mean,
Yeah, I you know what, I used 1395, which is lower, but yeah, that's what I was thinking during, after COVID. I don't know how much money people are gonna have, how high the rents will be. So essentially, I projected over 5, 6, and 7 years a very conservative return.
yeah, worst case scenario, your partners are making 14, 15% on their money.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And this is this is over, I would say 5, 6, or 7 years, right? When
And then, I mean, the if it goes quicker, like you're able to get people out quicker, get better rents, you can refinance in 2 years and get people their money out and their return quicker and faster, right?
I mean, that's the idea. So in the end, I did find I did find investors. They did invest. I would say as soon as COVID was clearing, which is good. So I think they got a good deal, and then I'm happy where we own this building, and I didn't have to use all of my own cash, because. I mean, also one thing I wanted to say is I was in this deal in with the environmental, and the environmental didn't pass, the first one. So that's phase.
Phase one brought up the neighboring property used to be a gas station and a garage and whatever. So they
Yeah,
had
absolutely. A dry cleaner. I mean, everything
a
you
dry
can
cleaner
think
on the
of.
other
But
side.
that was in the 90s, and then there was a Tim Hortons where the gas station was. So I thought that I thought it would come in clean. Then we had to spend another bunch of money on environmental phase two, which extended the project quite a bit as well.
Which, I mean, at the end of the day, it was actually a good thing because you got way better financing.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I mean, with I think phase two was a little bit stressful because they drilled 3 holes, took water samples, and then the first sample they got came in dirty, meaning that it was above the guidelines, so it would never
By,
pass.
by like a smidgen, like a rounding error above.
Yeah, it's actually the tolerance for residential buildings is 400 times less than what it is for a typical like industrial
Yeah.
zone. Yeah. So then we did more testing, and I was about 24,000 in myself. I've decided to take on the risk because it's COVID. And then once it passed, that's when I got the investors in, and then I got the good financing
Yeah.
from the credit union. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
So
Mike, I mean, I think it's a great property. Like literally, I think you can drop a bomb on this thing. Like if there's a nuclear war, I'm going to that basement because it's so like there's so much concrete there. It's unbelievable. Like I think you could probably add another story there, no problem, just based on the structure. If that ever was what you wanted to do.
you know what, Mark? It's so funny that every person, every inspector that came into that building loves the building. I mean, they basically said this thing will stand for forever. The walls are so thick. I don't think they build these buildings like that anymore. So definitely, I'm in. If there's a nuclear threat, all of you guys are invited into the basement. Um, there is an old sauna there that's not in use,
Get it working. Who knows?
which. But aside from that, everything is pretty standard, a safe place.
And this
One
is
other thing I wanted to mention is I'm actually starting an investor circle as well with like pretty cool market updates, investment videos, talk about the economy a little bit. So if you want to check me out, you got the link in blue here as
and
well.
we'll put that in the description below. You can just click right through there. And then you got Mike's contact information there. He also has CMHC report and the Hamilton Unstoppable from where he got the that great picture. And there's a pretty cool video on there.
Yeah, so if you want a great picture, just grab it off on Hamilton Unstoppable.
There you go. Well, Mike, I know you got to run. So any parting words to everyone here in the YouTube channel?
Yeah, you know what? I wanted to mention that throughout this process, all those things seem to get pretty difficult. But what I kind of learned is one is working with a great team. I know, Mark, you were pretty even, and then I would say pretty chill during the whole process, which helped me. So that was good. And another one is really when you feel like you're overwhelmed, there's a lot of things going on and things are not working out. Just focus on taking one next step, one small step in a positive direction, and then taking one step again after that. So just kind of continues, and then somehow things will unfold.
It'll all work out in the end. It'll work out how it's meant to work out, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then in the end, I'm actually glad to go through this experience. I mean, learned so much about the ups and downs of different industries, and then developed more contacts than I would have if COVID wasn't around.
That's for sure.
So yeah, so overall it's been good.
Good. Well, I'm glad it was a good experience. I look forward to catching up with you in 6 months to a year, see where you're at in the project, and you know, see if I can call you a liar for your low rents.
I hope so. I hope that, yeah, it will. And then if there are any threats, welcome to my bunker.
All right. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mark. Take care.
See, 3-story concrete construction. Walk down the side here. Nice and clean, just drained for us. Some parking at the back so we can charge for the tenants. And just a little bit more parking at the side.